Shalom Chavrim. It is a pleasure to get to come and speak with you guys. Many things are happening. Many things are going to be happening. And we're coming to a crossroad in the ministry here. Going to be a lot of changes coming up. I want to kind of update you on these things as we go out tonight and through the video here that we'll be doing. We're going to be speaking on some prophetic things that God has shown me tonight, as well as I want to take you a little deeper into the story of Joseph. I think you'll see the purpose in behind all this as we go. Let me just let you know though now, those of you that you may already know, some of you don't know, we are set to go to Israel. I'm not intending to announce the exact date of our departure, but I will tell you that we will be there during April, we'll be there during May. Who knows how much longer other than that, but our purpose is to broaden the ministry. We're going to go much deeper. We are in a very serious hour, as many of you know. We are in a extreme hour right now. The gospel of Mashiach is about to turn back to his people. The fight for Jerusalem, the ripping apart of the seams, the Israel being in travail, a woman in travail, as it is mentioned in Micah and other places in the Bible. So many prophecies that are being fulfilled, and I feel the urgency, one, to speak to our Gentile brothers and sisters about what is going on, to show you the events that are unfolding. Not that you may not already be getting these things as it is, but we're wanting to take you up close, bring you right up to the front lines, during the first blood moons here, as it starts off there, taking you through the finalization of this quote-unquote peace process, which all of you know that I hate and despise. And we're wanting, in some cases, we intend to be reporting live from Israel. There's a couple of different avenues that we're looking at. We did set up the live stream channel. We have named it Israel Live because we're going to be filming from Israel. Most of the teachings, though, will be filmed on location. In other words, we'll be doing teachings on location as well as news gathering insights and interviews, and they will be loaded up onto YouTube. We are looking at the different avenues, whether it be through our live stream, Live 365 channel that we're trying to get all that worked out, the bugs that worked out, as well as the YouTube channel, but possibly even Google+. From what I understand, we may be able to film directly live and bring information back to you when we run into situations where we feel like it's something we'd like to be able to present to you right then and there. I want to thank you guys. I want to thank those of you that have stepped forward and asked to be a part to help us with this. There's no way we can do this without you, and I believe it's a divine appointment that God has given us with you, to partner with you in this. And I believe that in what we're doing in Israel, it's going to really reach out far beyond the group that we have that is joining us. I hate to say the word following it, because I believe that God is able to work with each individual. You know, you as an individual and me as an individual, God deals with us. I mean, my wife gets revelations that just astonish me. He's no different with you. And many of you send me in insights and things that God is sharing with you. And that's what we're doing back with you guys. We are sharing with you what God is laying on our heart. I don't know exactly where all this is going to go to. We've had so many different blessings that has just, to me, without question, showing that God is behind what's happening. Even to a dream that my father-in-law had. Looks like we're going to see the actual manifestation of that dream while we're there. Just things that have come together that we had no idea would come together. So we're just asking you, if you want to be a part of this, join with us in doing this. It's a major undertaking. There's a lot of things that we would like to be able to do that it's just going to take God's mercy to do it. So I'll just leave it at that. And I want to really tell you, thank you guys from the bottom of my heart. My family thanks you. My whole family will be with me, and we will be working diligently to get you guys up to speed, showing you the things that are going on. So without further ado, let's get right into this beautiful revelation that God showed me today. I'm going to start off with just kind of quickly at the beginning of this message before we go into Joseph here. In Nehemiah chapter 13, and by the way, those that do not know Nehemiah, Nehemiah was a cupbearer for Artaxerxes. And he was sad when he'd heard the word that had come back that they were restoring from Ezra. They had restored the temple, but the walls were not built up. And so therefore, the second temple, it was just a battle constantly that was going on down in Israel at that time. And Nehemiah was saddened before the king. And I always thought it was a beautiful parallel of Mashiach and his bride, because here they are together, and it's as if the king Artaxerxes has a gift of discernment, because he says, "Why are you sad in my presence? Why are you sad? I've never seen you sad before. This is nothing but sorrow of heart." See, he even knows why he's sad. And so it frightens Nehemiah a little bit, but he says, "My Lord, why would I not be sad when my father's sepulchres the city is being besieged," is basically, just to kind of give you a little rough idea there. But anyway, so he asked for leave to be able to go to Israel and to be able to rebuild the walls in the city. And this is actually where we get the Daniel 70th week timeline from. We know it's from the beginning of the rebuilding of the walls in the streets of Jerusalem. It's through Nehemiah's prophecy there. But anyway, so as Nehemiah is down there, Nehemiah really begins to face some opposition, especially from Tobiah. And that's the guy I want you to pay attention in here. But the sad thing is, there's a priest that's involved in this, one of the Levites, that you wouldn't have known that was the bad guy to start with. So let's just look at this real quick, because there's a beautiful parallel that the Lord showed me here. A prophecy that's being fulfilled right before your eyes, written here with a compound meaning for a future date. Let's look at it. Okay, on that day, chapter 13, verse 1, on that day they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonite and the Moabite should not come into the congregation of God forever, because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit our God turned the curse into a blessing. Now, just keep in mind, what is that? That's when Israel was coming up, trying to make it their way to the promised land. And the Ammonites and the Moabites, Israel said, God tells them, this is your brother, it's your half brother here. Don't, you need to tell him you'll pay for the land. If your cattle eat up any of the grass, drink any water, we'll pay for it. We're just asking permission to go through. But instead, they despised Israel and hired Balaam, a false prophet, to come out and curse them. But instead, God makes Balaam bless them instead. Interesting parallel there. But that's not what we're getting to. Hang on, we're going to get to the good stuff. Now it came to pass, verse 3, when they had heard the law, they separated from Israel all the mixed multitude. Fixing to have a separation time, my friends. There's fixing to be a separation time. God's going to separate his elect. See? Now when I say separation, it's kind of like when we read in the Christian Bible, he separates the sheep from the goats. See, we're not talking about true, genuine Christians. See? And by the way, for those of you that listen, we're not talking about Christians. My Jewish brothers, listen. Now, the Vatican, the Catholic Church and stuff, this is not Christianity. The people that are supporting, that are becoming part of the Catholic system, that's not Christianity. But there are genuine Christians, though, you'll find in each one of these little walks of life. Genuine Christians that are maybe hidden in the Baptist Church, Methodist Church, Catholic, different churches out there. And I believe there's even true Catholic people that love God but just don't know any better, that need to recognize that Yeshua is their Messiah and not dependent on a bunch of... I don't want to go into that yet. That's tomorrow's message. So let me save it for that. I get carried away if I don't stop. But anyway, But that's not Christianity. Christianity is those people that believe that Yeshua is Mashiach. They love him with all their heart. They have a strong heart and desire for the children of Israel. They recognize that they may not be able to see because of the circumstances, but yet they know they're God's people, and they do not look at Israel as a condemned people. That's a true Christian. That's a true Christian. And they don't look at us and say that all of our forefathers that never believed in Yeshua are all gone to hell. Nope, they don't believe that either. Not a true Christian. A true Christian knows the blood of Yeshua has already atoned. Anyway, all right, so let's move on. And before this, before what? Before the separation came. See, he's going to back you up. He's going to show you something that happened. So before, even in modern days, before God is going to separate the mixed multitude that has come in down into Israel and tried to take over the land, before he separates that, something was going on in the background. Let's see what it was. Eliashib, the priest, having the oversight of the chamber of the house of our God, was allied unto Tobiah. Tobiah is not a good guy either. And he had prepared for him a great chamber, where aforetime they laid the meat offerings, the frankincense, and the vessels, and the tithes of the corn, the new wine, and the oil, which was commanded to be given to the Levites, and the singers, and the porters of the offerings of the priests. Now notice this. Notice what he said he did. Eliashib the priest, having the oversight of the chamber of the house of our God, was allied unto Tobiah. And he's got the power over this chamber. It says, and he prepared for him a great chamber, where aforetime, in other words, in time past, they laid the meat offerings and frankincense and the vessels and the tithes of the corn. And that was, of course, to be laid aside for the Levites. Verse 6, but in all the time was not I at Jerusalem. Now see, this is interesting. Nehemiah lets you know, while this was all going on, he wasn't there. And 32 years of Artaxerxes, king of Babylon, came I unto the king, and after certain days obtained I leave of the king. And I came to Jerusalem, and understood of the evil that Eliashib did for Tobiah in preparing him a chamber in the courts of the house of God. It's in the courts now. See, notice, it's not actually in the temple. It's in the courts. And it grieved me sore. Therefore I cast forth all the household stuff of Tobiah out of the chamber. Then I commanded they cleanse the chambers. And thither brought I again the vessels of the house of God with the meat offering and the frankincense. And I perceived that the portions of the Levites had not been given them. For the Levites and the singers that did the work were fled every one to his field. Don't let that leave your mind either. Then contended I with the rulers and said, why is the house of God forsaken? And I gathered them together and set them in their place. Then brought all Judah the tithe of the corn and the new wine and the oil into the treasuries. Now I'll just kind of stop right there, because you can read the rest and you'll be able to see this. What is it speaking of here? I believe it's prophetically speaking of when Israel recently gave over at King David's tomb the upper room, and they made it a seat for the Pope. I believe that Tobiah is a type of the Pope of Rome being given what? That sacred place. Because notice what he says in verse 5, and he had prepared for him a great chamber. This, by the way, is the place for the Last Supper, the upper room that is called. It's right there at King David's tomb. And by preparing him a seat there, puts him in the place as king of Israel, is what they've done. And it's done by Eliashib, who is a priest. There's a conspiracy, my friends, going on in the background. Now we know Shimon Peres is the one that has been orchestrating all this. But we're going to find out. There's a Levite in here that's allowed this to happen. And Nehemiah knew it. He knew it. So it just an incredible revelation there. But notice though, he then in verse 7, and I came to Jerusalem and understood of the evil that Elisha did for Tobiah in preparing him a chamber in the court of the house of God. Now, when we get right down to it, I'm looking at the Last Supper room. But this is actually speaking about where they're going to allow. The Pope himself is not. It's not going to end at the Last Supper room in Israel. When they rebuild the third temple, they're going to give him a place. He's going to be given a court in that temple. And that's why we see Nehemiah says, understood the evil that Elisha did for Tobiah in preparing him a chamber in the courts of the house of God. My God. Because they were allied. Anyway, I don't want to put any more time on this here. You guys can read that yourself. You'll enjoy it. I say enjoy it. It's sad. It's very sad what's going on. And Tobiah, my gosh, when you read the book of Nehemiah, Tobiah was always a thorn in the flesh for Nehemiah. Let me just kind of share with you a couple of these here. Just so you can see here. Like for example, Nehemiah chapter 6. Moreover, in those days the nobles of Judah sent many letters unto Tobiah, and the letters of Tobiah came unto them. For there were many in Judah sworn unto him, because he was the son-in-law of Shechaniah, the son of Ara, and his son Jonathan, and had taken the daughter of Meshullam, the son of Berechiah. I mean, this is such a complex conspiracy. And this is why, I mean, look what he says right here. Moreover, in those days, the nobles of Judah sent many letters unto Tobiah. Look at what's happening at the Vatican on a regular basis. We've got the nobles of Israel constantly going in, coming out, going in, coming out. It's just, it makes me sick, to tell you the truth. It makes me sick. So I think, I can't wait to go back and read it in here in the book of Nehemiah. My soul is just really wanting to read all of this again. I always felt compelled about Nehemiah when God first began to deal with me on this many years ago. And now I can really see why. A lot of things I'm sure that are hidden there that I've just not looked at. Anyway, let's go right into the story here in Genesis, in Bereshit. And this is where we'll get going. I'll tell you what, we'll do that as a second video. I'll prepare that while you watch this one here. God bless you.